What is up, you guys? Welcome back to Kenny Tarot YouTube channel. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Hopefully you guys are doing amazing. Hopefully you guys are keeping yourself safe, you and your loved ones safe during this pandemic. It feels like this pandemic has been lasting I feel like I've been in this pandemic my whole entire life. And I don't know when it's gonna go away, but in the meantime, you guys, I am praying that you guys all remain safe, especially for those of you guys as well who are experiencing, hurricanes or any other natural, disaster. I hope that you guys are also being safe as well. But let's get into it, you guys. I'm feeling good today, and so I wanted to come back at you with a new video for that ass. But Spirit had put it on my heart that I wanted to record a video, very lighthearted, and the video is entitled "How Would Your Spirit Team Describe You?" Now, to be honest, the main purpose is that I kind of want to laugh, and so I'm hoping that your spirit team describes something that's probably embarrassing for you, so I can enjoy this even more. No, but we're just going to see, and I feel like this topic maybe I've done it before on the previous channel, but I really don't care. I just wanted to have Spirit, give Spirit pretty much the floor to really describe the person that they're assigned to. And I really wanted it to be as honest as possible. I mean, obviously it's going to be as honest as possible, but I really wanted them to tell it like it is. No sugarcoat, okay? Sugar free, okay? But yeah, let's get into it. Let's choose from these piles. We have pile number 1 with the green aventurine. We have pile number 2 with the crystal quartz. Pile number 3 with the rose quartz. We also have pile number 4 with the black tourmaline. So with that being said, you guys, please choose with your intuition and not your eyes, and I will catch you at your reading. What is up, pile number 1? This is for those who pick the green aventurine stone. We're about to find out, how would your spirit team describe you? The cards that they gave us are, we have the 9 of Pentacles in reverse. We also have the Magician card. We also have 10 of Swords in reverse. We have number 3, take the lead. This is also the 3 of Wands. We have Capricorn. We have the King. We have Indecision. Angel of Strength. Number 50. And this card that we get into later. Okay, so you, pile number 1, I don't know why they're making me feel this way, but they're making me feel like, one, the first thing they said was loner. Now, you may not actually be a loner, but that's what they're making me feel. I almost feel like your normal disposition is to maybe go within, or maybe even, I feel like normally you would rather do things independently, things like that. I feel like there's a very independent nature with this group. However, what's funny is that it seems like your spirit team seems to be leading you to a more social experience in this incarnation. I feel as though one of your goals in this lifetime is to really connect, form bonds. I think you are going to be experiencing many connections in this lifetime. And I think it's because your spirit team is highlighting for me right now, you have a certain magnetism about you. They're making it seem like it feels like fire. Like, I'm not sure if you're a fire sign, of course, but it almost feels like, moths to a flame. People can't help to be drawn to you. This may be an annoyance to you at times, but this is kind of a part of your journey. It almost feels like you could have maybe in the past life been secluded in solitude, or maybe lived a life in which it didn't allow you to really make friends or even have what feels like a public relationship. And it seems as though your spirit team is trying to, balance that by giving you a life that, or less, helping you live a life to where there's more connections. Now, all these connections that you will be experiencing doesn't necessarily have to have the most favorable outcome, but they all serve a purpose, and I think that's going to be part of your journey. However, let's get into it. I know that was just a big premise. That's typically what I do. I'm sure you guys are already familiar, but let's begin. We have the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. Now, this right here, yeah, they keep mentioning that you guys are meant to meet a lot of people, or at least form many bonds. I get the sense that with you, there is a habit that you maybe have that tends to be where you don't mind being alone and things like that. But I do believe, if you have not yet experienced this yet, I do believe there's going to be a time where you do tend to, either you do tend to want more relationships or more connections, or just more, because this is kind of what this experience is about. We are, beings that kind of do thrive off of camaraderie and bonds, and I get the sense that you either are used to being alone or used to being independent, but that's something that is gradually changing for you to where you're going to want to seek out companions, whether it's in friendships or otherwise. I also get the sense that this is a group in which your spirit team has watched you maybe even cut people off, and you're okay with that. I can't necessarily say if all those cuts were the right one to do, but only you would be able to know that answer. But yeah, this is, I feel, a group of people who a big thing in your life is going to be about connections, and it's going to be about how you really grow from all these connections that you make. And I do feel like a lot of you guys are learning, or if not, you maybe have already learned the art of discernment, and really how to stand on your own as well. So that's something that they're also commending you for. Now let's get into this. We have the Magician card. The Magician card, they're making me feel like you guys been through a lot. And maybe most people would have broken down, or maybe most people would have given up. It seems as though I don't want to make, okay, they're saying that you thrive in those type of situations because it doesn't necessarily slow you down, and actually it motivates you to do even better. So with this card, they're making me feel like you tend to thrive in those moments in which the odds are stacked up against you, or maybe something in your life is, kind of difficult to deal with, but it makes you even more determined than before. And I think this is how a lot of the things that you want out of life is going to come about. I'm also sensing this is someone who's, you guys are hard workers as well. And I also feel like a lot of times you may experience life and feel like nothing's necessarily happening in your favor. But Spirit is saying that they are happening even if you can't see it. Like, they're trying to reiterate how powerful you are. And now they're making me, they're showing me like someone who is all dressed in black. You don't have to be this type of person, but this is just what they're showing me. And it's almost as if you rather would be alone, but people keep talking to you. I don't know what that's about. Anyways, Ten of Swords in reverse. So this is what I'm talking about, or this is what they were referring to. You have gone through a lot, and a lot of which maybe has yet to be fully unpacked. There is one issue though that they keep bringing up. It feels like there's a very significant issue when it comes to like family or just coming to people who you can trust and rely on. This is something that's going to be, this is one of the issues that they're trying to fix or help you fix in this lifetime. And so the way that they're describing you is someone who maybe on the outside you really don't necessarily express that you do desire connections, you do desire maybe to be in a relationship or to be married or things like that. But on the inside, it's definitely feeling that way. It's feeling the exact opposite of maybe what you give off. Your spirit team is definitely highlighting the desire to really be a part of what feels like a family or maybe a social group. There's a desire to also feel like you belong. Next card that we have is Three of Wands. This is take the lead. I am getting, like, you don't necessarily have to be a fire sign, but I just feel like with you, and they're making me feel like it's a fire sign or fiery energy that's dormant. Your spirit team is saying that the first impression that you usually give is someone who may be aloof, maybe hard to approach, or at least give the energy that you don't want to be talked to. Like, don't talk to me, I haven't had my morning cup of joe yet. But you're going to find yourself in situations all the time in which people are going to talk to you, people are going to be drawn to you, and you can't help it. And I feel as though it's only a matter of time before that fiery energy really comes out. And the fiery energy is also going to manifest in a way as far as like charisma, as far as outgoingness, as far as just overall light. That's something that's really going to shine from the inside out. But I don't believe you dwelling or maybe even embracing darkness is a bad thing, but it just seems that the spirit team is really describing who you are on a soul level, and it seems someone who's very, very bright and very much like who's going to attract a lot of people by way of maybe how they speak or just their personality, or maybe even how they look. Yeah. I see a lot of people being drawn to you. I don't know why that is. I see a lot of people being drawn to you, but it's almost like you have yet to really embrace that part of you, or at least really took full advantage of that part of you to see it through its full potential. Now we also have Capricorn. Now this deck is full of astrology, and just because it says Capricorn doesn't mean you have to be a Capricorn, but you could just be exhibiting Capricorn-like traits. For this card in particular, for you guys, they're making me feel, what can I say? Well, first of all, once again, it's that fiery nature that is underneath the depth. Like it's almost as if it's dormant. It has yet to fully come out yet. I also feel like this is a group of, once again, hard workers. Someone who's, once again, they want me to talk about, you've been through a lot, and maybe it would have broken down anybody else, but for you, it almost made you more determined. I see a very determined person here. And it's like in those type of environments in which the odds are stacked up against you, or maybe you are considered the underdog, you thrive in those type of environments. And not everyone can do that. But yeah, that's what I'm getting with this. It's just almost getting like someone who, you ever heard that expression, don't sleep on him or don't sleep on them? And it's usually a term used for people who are like considered to be underdogs, or people who have been counted out, or people who just, people don't believe in them. You're one of those cases in which it's almost as if spirit loves when that happens, only because you are going to be proving a lot of people wrong in this life by way of, like, I almost feel like for a lot of you guys could have been maybe had upbringings that wasn't necessarily the most favorable, and so it's like when you were in that position, or when you were growing up, people didn't expect much from you. People didn't necessarily see even the potential within you. And I think maybe people's words, or maybe people's comments, or people's just disbelief with you made it the perfect fuel for you to soar, and for you to determine. Now, you may not necessarily be where you want when it comes to like maybe career or education or just life in general, but your spirit team is indicating that this is exactly where you're leading and heading towards. Now, the next card that we have is the King. Of course, I don't need to say this, but I'm going to say it anyways for the people in the back. Yes, this is a masculine card. However, you don't necessarily have to be a male in order to identify with this. But the King obviously represents authority, control, stability as well. This is also someone who has pretty much a clear mind, very rational as well, and also someone who has maybe a clear vision of where they want to go. Next to the indecision card, it also reiterates the idea that you definitely have a sense of clarity, or at the very least, a great sense of judgment. And so it's just maybe, I don't know if you guys ever heard this expression now, because they're now using expressions that I feel like I made up in my own head, but maybe you guys heard of it too. Like, it's lonely at the top. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that, but that's what they said. And so, I don't want to say this, but I think I'm going to. Y'all ever have those, you ever heard of those past life regression therapy, where pretty much people pay for like, and I don't know what the actual specialist name is. It could just be doing what I'm doing, but basically they reveal to people who they were in a past life. And it's always typically someone who is like, oh, it's a king or a queen, or just someone who's very like regal and just amazing. It is never something like, someone said like a blind child who's a leopard or something like that. Like, it's never that, but it's always the royalty. So what they made me feel is like, you could have had a past life in which you had no other choice but to be in solitude or in that type of way, into where now this life is going to be about social gatherings, things like that. And it's very likely that there could have been maybe a prestigious region, really can prestigious reason as to why you may have led a life in the past that was maybe very, very secluded. But yeah. Next card we have is number 50, and this is Angel of Strength. Once again, they're saying that the best has yet to come with you. And they're almost like giddy and like almost like, oh, I can't wait until, this version of you emerges. So it feels like the lion within you is very much asleep at the very moment. The lion also represents the fire that they keep describing throughout this reading. And it feels like it's dormant at the very moment, but it's only a matter of time before it really shines through. And that's when you're really going to be at your fullest potential when it comes to development and growth and what you gain as knowledge from this incarnation. But yeah, so overall I feel as though your spirit team definitely finds you to be magnetic, and it almost as if they're calling you underrated. So it's almost as if people don't necessarily get to see that part of you. They do, but they only wish that other people will, and I think it's only a matter of time before that time actually does occur. They also want to commend you for not, yes, there are some times in which you may have cried, broken down, or maybe taken a break for whatever that's going in your life when it comes to traumatic events or just moments in your life to which you are feeling sad or down. But it seems as though they want to commend you for your determination and for you to not give up in this life. So kudos to y'all. The last card that we have is okay, we have Carrot, and it says opportunity or windfall. So I absolutely love this card. I know in this lifetime they're showing me the Queen of Pentacles. So when it comes to career, finances, you will be successful is what your spirit team is saying, but it's not going to be without hard work. And I know that sounds like maybe like duh, but not everyone succeeds based off hard work. But for you, it does seem like it's going to be based off hard work and your own fiery passion that seems to be dormant. But it's only a matter of time before it ignites in a way where it's going to be undeniable and it's going to help you succeed. It seems as though you do have a drive that your spirit team enjoys, and they want you to keep that. So, pile number 1. I hope that you enjoy this. I enjoyed connecting with your spirit team. They're definitely your biggest cheerleader. They definitely seem to understand you a lot more than the people around you currently do. if there are any people around you. But yeah, if you feel so inclined, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. But other than that, I will catch you next time. Bye. What is up? Pile number 2. This is for those who pick the clear quartz crystal. We're about to find out, how would your spirit team describe you? The cards that they gave us are, we have the Princess of Wands. We also have the 9 of Wands. We have the 6 of Swords. We have number 6, Believe and Succeed. This is also the 6 of Wands. We have Neptune. We have the Cat. We have Courage. We have number 46, the Thinking Man. And this card that we'll get into later. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, pile number 2. They're making me say it, so I will say it. And I tend to say this a lot on my channel because when I get this type of energy, that's how I describe it. So Spirit knows how to describe it, and the energy that I'm getting is brat. I'm getting him a brat type of energy, but brat is not necessarily a bad thing, okay? But it's almost as if it doesn't matter what age you are. It looks like your spirit team does view you as almost like a younger member of the family. So it could be quite likely that you do have someone who was in fact a part of your family, maybe has passed on, or just a legendary ancestor. But it seems as though there's just someone who, it feels as though they view you as a younger member of the family. And as I said that, they're showing me the 4 of Wands, which the 4 of Wands to me represents home, like almost like a familial aspect as well. So, but in their eyes, you're coming across as the younger one, like someone who, it's almost as if you have the personality that they have to tolerate. I don't know. I mean, that sounds so bad. But it's one of those things where, you know, because I'm the youngest in my family, right? And I'll be the first to admit, there's a lot of perks that come with being the youngest. You don't have that many responsibilities that you have to worry about. You don't have to really worry about meeting people's expectations, because that's what the oldest was supposed to do. You know, and a lot of times you're given a lot of things. That's how it was when I was growing up. Still kind of is now. But there is a way that people treat you when you are considered to be the youngest, and this is kind of how your spirit team is making me feel when it comes to you. Now, it seems as though there is a story that they really want to at least highlight about you that I am going to highlight. But the overall theme seems to be, you know, a brat. Like, not a brat, but like, yes, a brat, but more so like, in the sense like, this is my younger sibling or younger, someone who I really, really care for. Yeah, they could be annoying at times, but I love them. So, that's what it's coming across as, okay? But let's begin. Princess of Wands in reverse. Now, this is, in reverse, this is my brat card. But this is almost as if, like, there's a fiery nature, there's an argumentative nature. I think even if you're right or wrong, people don't want to argue with you because it's not really going to, it feels like this is something that it's not going to really lead anywhere, if that makes sense. Oh, it sounds bad, I know, pile number 2, but I think the best way I can also say is that I have a best friend, and this best friend, he known me longer than everyone else in my friends group. But for some reason with him, it's very easy. He's very easy to get worked up, and for me, that's fun. So I tend to exploit that a lot of times. So a lot of times I would have a conversation with him or say things just to get a reaction, and knowing what to say and just to get a reaction. And well, I can't do that with all my other friends because they know what I'm up to when it comes to that. But with him and specifically, he's oblivious to that, so he'll just take the bait regardless, and I enjoy it. So in relation to the energy that they're giving with you, I'm almost getting to someone who definitely likes to be that type of person. Some people may call it devil advocate. I don't think that devil needs an advocate. Devil does not need help. But that term is someone who likes to definitely play with fire. Someone who maybe finds enjoyment in getting people riled up a little bit. Now, obviously, the way I describe it is all in game. It's all in fun. You know, there's no permanent damage from doing that. But that's what I'm getting. They're also making it seem like someone who's naive, but not in a bad way, but more so like someone who's willing to explore life in like almost like the eyes of a child. Like, despite what maybe you may have advised me, I'm still going to follow this path because I believe that this is what I should be doing. So I'm getting someone very headstrong, and kind of like, you know what, once I set my mind onto it, I'm going to do it, and you can't tell me anything. So some people may call it stubborn, but I kind of like that as well. So the next card that we have is Nine of Wands. So this, as well as the Six of Wands, or the Six of Swords. This is the Nine of Wands, this is the Six of Swords. This is your spirit team kind of acknowledging that maybe you are having a hard time, or maybe you did have a life in which it wasn't necessarily the most pleasant. And maybe that could explain as to why this nature about you is being highlighted. But I'm getting someone who's definitely, you know, they're making it seem like when it comes to maybe wishes being fulfilled, like things that you want out of this life, it seems like you may have had a hard time in actually seeing those things coming to fruition. Maybe there's times when you felt like giving up, but you actually didn't. You just felt like it, but you didn't. And so this is Spirit really highlighting your determination and maybe a little bit of that, you know, that stubbornness, you know, because I think it's that stubbornness that's helping you through this life as well. Helping you remain determined, remain tenacious about, it feels like a wish. They're saying it as wish, but obviously you could have a lot of things that you want out of this life, and you could be met with opposition or obstacles, and it still isn't going to stop you though, is what they're saying, and they love that about you. They also mentioned that you guys are a little bit more imaginative, and I don't know what age you could be, but they're making me feel like you're young, or at least in their eyes, they do kind of see you as like almost like their child or their younger sibling. And so it seems as though some of those traits could be displayed by you by way of maybe you have a vivid imagination, or you just have a lot of dreams in which maybe a lot of people would have considered to be unrealistic. However, that never stopped you from trying. So they love that. Speaking of which, number 6. This is the 6 of Wands. Believe and succeeds. Yeah. The 6 of Wands is an amazing card to get in general. But this is my card indicating that Spirit is almost saying that you guys will be successful, but by way of your tenacious spirit, you never giving up, your determination. And it's all because of you. Like I said, you're coming across, like, I know they started off saying like it's a brat, but this is one of those examples in which maybe some of those characteristics that sometimes give a negative connotation are kind of being spun positively. Your success is going to be an act of or going to be the result of your stubbornness, if that makes sense. Like, you didn't listen to mom and dad, but because you didn't listen to mom and dad, you actually became more successful than they've ever pictured you to be. This could also be people who are pursuing careers or endeavors that are maybe not necessarily advised by people. Maybe it's, different, unique, non-traditional. But yeah, this is the march to the beat of my own drum type of energy. I don't follow the crowd type of energy. This is it. Now let's get into this. This is what I really couldn't wait to get into. Neptune. Now, you don't have to be a water sign. You don't have to have water in your chart. But in this case, I'm getting someone who's very, very, very deep. And this is contrast to this. So think of it like this. This is more so like outside personality, and this is more so like the inside personality. And you definitely you don't get enough credit for being, it seems as though, I feel like there's also intelligence with you and some sort of wisdom with you. You definitely don't get credit, and that's probably because it's maybe being overshadowed by this. But I am getting someone who could possibly be quite emotional, maybe more emotions than just anger, but more so as vulnerability and empathy. There's more layers to you than what people know, and I'm getting there's spirituality that's happening with you now. Obviously, this is a spiritual channel. This is I do spiritual topics, and I think it may come across as like redundant to say that I sense that you guys could be very spiritual or just be on the precipice of a spiritual awakening. It may sound redundant, but not everyone who watches these videos are into spirituality or practice spirituality. Like, not everyone who watches this. Some people just watch it just to be entertained. But for you specifically, I am getting someone who could be very spiritual. And if not very spiritual, I do feel like there's something bubbling underneath the surface that it's only a matter of time before it comes to the surface as a spiritual awakening. Okay? But overall, you're a lot deeper than maybe what your normal disposition gives. I love this card. We have the cat. cats get a bad rap. And I don't know why, because I love cats. I used to own one as well. Well, I don't like to say own, but I used to have a partnership with a cat. And she was perfect. Yeah, cats definitely get a bad rap. But one thing about cats that maybe a lot of people can agree on is that they definitely have that definitely independent nature. This is not someone who I feel, cats are not beings that I feel will like, they're not the animal. I mean, sometimes, yeah, they could be the animals that will greet you when you come home. But they're definitely someone who could be a little bit more like I'm not going to, greet you when I want to. When I want to, I'm going to greet you when I feel like it. Or this is also sometimes, I used to have my cat back in the day, she used to, it's always the times in which I'm working or the times in which I'm doing homework or things like that to where she wants to give me attention. Like if I was streaming or I was recording a video, she would be right here in the camera, rubbing her tail in my face. But this is what I mean. I do feel like you could have the personality that's cat-like, in the sense that some people may refer to as hot and cold, or just you never know what you're going to get. But I actually feel like your spirit team is not saying that's a bad thing. Your spirit team is almost saying that this is a charming quality about you. And something about cats as well. Cats are definitely always associated when it comes to the occult, when it comes to psychic. So I'm feeling that for this group, to be honest. And I know there would be a pile that would make me feel that way. This is that pile in which I feel as though you could probably have like a secret life. And by secret life is that I don't think anybody probably knows that you're into spirituality or you're into what you're into. But overall, the cat could indicate the maybe standoffish nature that you could probably sometimes exhibit. Yeah. It's like 1 minute you are purring on them, or in the next minute you're scratching them. Which, to be honest, I don't see it as a bad thing. I personally don't see it as a bad thing, because like I said, once again, your spirit team is making it seem as though you are like a younger sibling or the youngest of the family. I don't know why they're making me feel that way, but it's almost as if anything that you can do or say, even if a normal person, like any other person, we would probably reprimand them and we'd probably think, that's not good. That's not a good look. But for you, they're making me feel like it doesn't matter what you kind of do or say, they're going to find the cuteness out of it. They're going to find the charming aspect about it. It's one of those things. But we also have courage. Yeah. So we definitely have a very confident energy that we are dealing with now with you. I think the spirit team is also commending that nature about you, that once again, it's that headstrong nature that seems to be the key, that is going to be the key to your success against all odds, against maybe what people would have described to be as a dead end or just a bad idea. You decided to do it. And I don't know, this could definitely refer to any aspect in life, but this is just the scenario that they're giving me. It could be like maybe work related, or just whatever type of dream or path you're being led onto, this card is also indicating that you, once again, follow the beat of your own drum. And it's that nature about you that's actually going to work in your favor when it comes to life. Now, we also have number 46, which is the thinking man. Now, this is where, I mean, they kind of highlighted it already within this pile or within this reading, but I really get there's a dichotomy with you. Like, you could either look young or maybe act or behave in such a youthful way, but you could really be very wise and have a lot of knowledge and a lot of depth. So I'm getting that type of dichotomy, and I find that to be amazing. My best friend who passed away, he was the youngest of everyone in our crew, but he was definitely one of the most wisest, absolutely. He always had the best advice, and he always knew how, especially when he had issues within the circle, how to be neutral and how to really delegate and really express what it is that we should be doing, how should we be feeling, things like that. And that's a quality that is admirable, and I think that's what Spirit is really trying to highlight within you, is that you have two sides to you. Yes, we still have that. We have that bratty side in which we've grown to love and we tolerate, but it's also the bratty side that maybe you have a hard head, but it's that hard head that's still. It's the hard head that makes you more determined to succeed, and when you pick a path, you stick to it wholeheartedly, and also, you're quite deep. There's layers to you, and people would not expect it, because when they see this at first, they don't think that could have this within it, which is deep. This is the emotional intelligence, and this is also wisdom here, and rationality. So there's many facets that make you who you are, and I'm sorry, I'm going way overboard as far as the time, but I do like this energy. But let's get into the last card. Last card that we have is Target, a goal-oriented person. Yeah, I almost feel like whenever you have an idea or a vision, it's tunnel vision, and you will not stop until it's achieved. And this is an amazing quality to have. And this is one of those things, once again, that I feel it could be attributed to the idea that you could be stubborn. And once again, it's these qualities where I feel like are typically have a negative connotation, but you found a way to spin that. And I'm not sure if you did that intentionally, but this is these qualities that are going to work in your benefit. Anyways, pile number 2. I'm so sorry that I've gone long enough, but I did like this type of energy. This is the type of energy that I probably would be around and enjoy. But I hope that you enjoyed your spirit team's description of who you are and how they see you. And if you feel so inclined, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. But other than that, I will catch you next time. What is up, pile number 4? This is for those who picked the rose quartz crystal. We're about to find out how would your spirit team describe you. The cards that they gave us are the Queen of Wands. We also have the Queen of Cups. See that? Now we also have the Ten of Wands. We have number 13, release. This is also the Death card. We also have Earth. We have the Wind Fairy. We have Denial. And we also have number 35, First Chakra Archangel Michael in the reverse. And this card I will get into later. So, I'm getting a very empowered person. Someone who is, almost feel like they know who they are. You know, they know what they want. It almost feels like I'm looking at someone even on paper, it feels like you're the perfect person or perfect match. You just got it going on. Like, that's how they're making me feel. Like, it seems as though your life is put together. I'm also getting someone who has a lot of responsibilities. Now, this could, I almost feel like it's in relations to maybe personal responsibilities. Like for example, you could be, I don't know why they're making me say this, but I'm going to say this. Like a lot of foreign, like people a lot of Americans who have foreign parents, a lot of times those children are, have a huge amount of pressure to really live up to, I guess, what their parents would describe to be as the American dream. Like, they're supposed to be the one to make it. We did all this so that you could be a success story. And a lot of times what I feel as though that could do, conversely, is that it could definitely affect the child negatively, to where maybe sometimes they don't feel like they're good enough, or sometimes they don't feel like, maybe what they gave, which was actually probably really good, isn't good enough for their parents' standards. So that could also be like a reoccurring, cycle. But, that's just an example. You don't necessarily have to relate to it. But overall, I feel as though this is a group who has a lot of responsibilities and really, really put it on themselves to really uphold, their commitments. I'm also getting like people who a lot of people have to depend on for whatever reason. People tend to look upon you for either guidance, advice, or assistance. I'm getting, you always have to be strong for everyone else, but there's never a time in which you can just, it feels like you don't have many people that you can lean on. People lean on you, but you don't have anyone to lean on, is what I'm feeling as well. So, right off the bat, your spirit team is commending you for your strength. And it almost feels like complete acts of selflessness. And maybe just also, there's some instances, maybe especially for those of you guys who have been one of those children who have been, the shining star of the family, and have to really kind of take care of a family member or more. Like, I'm getting that they really want to commend you for. But the thing that they keep talking about is like there's a need to really be, there's a need to unload. There needs to be a time in which you are relaxed. There needs to be a time in which you have someone that you can, unload and feel comfortable with, or just simply taking the time to do that. begin. We have the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is one of my favorite queens. This is the bold, the daring, the sexy, the confident, the charismatic, the goal-oriented, the person who doesn't take no for an answer. This is also my magical beings, for those of you guys who may identify as a witch or a magician or a wizard, whatever the case you want to be. This is typically that card as well, besides the magician, because this card definitely speaks about magic. It's not in this depiction, but there's also used to be in the normal depiction, the Rider-Waite's. There's a cat here at the foot of the queen, and that typically represents magic as well. A black cat, that is. But yeah, I rock with this queen. I really do. Now let's get into the next queen that we have, which is also the Queen of Cups. So for this two cards, I'm also getting a dichotomy with you. There's obviously there's a bold, daring, very confident one, but there's also a vulnerability that you have. It seems as though you have a great capacity for emotions and know how to deal with it in a healthy way. And I also feel like this is nurturing aspect. I'm getting mother energy with this person, with you. And that could possibly also indicate the responsible nature that I feel from this group. Like this could also be the group in which you have to grow up very quickly. Maybe you were the oldest of younger siblings, and you have to grow up maybe quickly and maybe be responsible at a very certain age and take care of your siblings. But yeah, I'm getting someone who has that nature about them, like someone who people don't have to worry that things will be taken care of when you are amongst the mist, you know what I mean, or amongst people. But they definitely they want me to highlight the dichotomy between these two energies. Yes, this is the queen, and it's in a sense also feminine, but the fiery aspect about this queen definitely gives masculine energy, while this one is just pure, straight up feminine energy. And when I say feminine, I'm talking about, empathy, intuition, those type of feminine attributes. So it seems as though you have both of those things that your spirit team really wants to highlight, and it seems like they actually definitely do love that. They want to really highlight the vulnerable aspect about you. And once again, I'm getting the sense that this is something that you kind of have to keep under wraps. This is not something that you really make people see or allow people to see. Like very few people have seen this side of you. And I feel like part of that is because you have to remain in this type of energy for the sake of other people. And what that has done is definitely become burdensome. So this is your spirit team really acknowledging this part about you. There seems to be a goal that they have with you is to really have it to where you embrace both of those attributes, and really to where you have it to where you maybe have a space, maybe a person, or just a type of group to where you could be this person fully and loudly. This card could also speak about the many responsibilities that you probably have in your normal day-to-day. And maybe what they also brought up was the burden of maybe expectations, burdens of success that maybe your family or other people may have of you. And once again, burden of responsibility that you could also have. The next card, the 13 release card, this is a death card. So this really speaks about a need to really unleash. I'm getting there's a lot of pent up energy that you've kept bottled in, and there's a need to unload this. it seems as though you definitely have incorporated in your life one way of living when your spirit team really wants you to embrace the other part of yourself as well. So the goal is to really find a balance of that. But first and foremost, they're making me feel like there's someone coming. I don't know if you have anybody else that you could really unload. Like when I say unload, I'm talking about like you'll be able to cry with them, be vulnerable with them, be able to really speak about how you truly feel on the inside when it comes to any topic, and they're going to listen and they're really going to give you that feedback that you need. Like, I don't know if you have anybody like that, but they're making me feel like if you don't have anybody like that, there is someone that is coming so that you could do that. But this is something that you can always practice. I think it's important, even if you have to, maybe listen to music or maybe even watch a specific TV that's really going to give you a certain type of reaction. And they're making me feel like crying. Like I almost feel like you haven't cried in a very long time. And, it's actually quite healthy. But overall, if you don't have an outlet yet, this is something that you're being advised to do. But I also feel like this is something that could be fulfilled by way of a person. Yeah. So your spirit is really coming across as concern, but with love, not like, they just really want you to live a balanced life, but also live life for yourself as well. Next card that we have is Earth card. Now with this group, I really feel the Earth card really represents responsibility, someone who's dependable, someone you can rely on, someone who is, very consistent. But I'm also getting a very nurturing quality with this group. And I have to go back to this. I kind of like with this group, it's highly indicated that you could be maybe responsible for maybe either family members, or you just have a lot of weight on your shoulder that I feel stems from family. It feels like, or people who are like family, and it seems as though you are kind of like the figure, the nurturing figure that people tend to look upon. I get that this is also the group that maybe is, either financially successful or just someone who has learned to live a life in which they could have enough resources in order to either take care of themselves or, and more likely, take care of other people. Next card that we have is the Wind Fairy. This card speaks about pretty much all the qualities when it comes to an air, almost like air sign, or just that energy, which is intelligence, communication. So yeah, I'm definitely getting someone who's quite, and I'm getting like book smart as well. Yeah. They're making me seem like you are someone who people confide in as well. And I think you are a lot of people's counselors, but it's almost as if, who's your counselor? Like, you don't have anyone that you can seek counsel from. It's like you're everyone's everything except your own. You know what I mean? Like you're everyone's everything. It's kind of sad. It's like they're commending you, but they really want to remind you that this is your life. You have to live your life as well for yourself. So it seems like they really want to reiterate balance, balance, balance. As soon as I picked up this card, by the way, it's denial. As soon as I picked up this card, they made me feel like guilty for wanting to live my life or wanting to treat myself. So I kind of feel like for this group, I'm willing to bet that you could be dealing with, and I hate to sound like this, but it just really is the truth, in which sometimes family members could, they feel entitled, yes, because we're related, they feel entitled that they should have, your energy or even your money or even your time. And granted, yeah, they would probably be first in line, but you're not entitled to it every single time or at the expense of my own, time to myself or my own self-care. And I feel as though this is a group in which you may feel guilty to doing those things for yourself, because it would mean not having to do things for other people. And you could be doing that for so long to where it's just something that you do naturally. And yeah. So I believe that Spirit is kind of trying to make you acknowledge this, The next card we have is First Chakra, Archangel Michael, number 35. It is in reverse. This is talking about the root chakra. And now this right here, I'm not gonna stutter. I'm not going to mince my words. If you guys are sacrificing your dreams, your goals, your aspiration for the sake of other people, even if it's family, I need you to stop doing that. I need you to stop doing that. There's a part of you, I feel, that has yet to be fulfilled. Like there's a part of you that's been unfulfilled. This is what they're making me feel like. And it's because you've taken a lot of responsibilities upon yourself for the sake of other people, to which you neglected your own life, your own dreams, your own aspirations, your own goals. Very selfless. Obviously these are all amazing qualities to have, but what your spirit team is really wanting to reiterate is there is a need to have a balance. You're an amazing person. You have the best of both worlds, which when it comes to masculine and feminine energy, fire and water, I guess, sun and moon, you have both qualities. And it's coming across as very angel-like, in which you tend to, worry about everybody else's well-being rather than your own. And it seems as though it's become very burdensome at times, but you haven't even given yourself you haven't allowed yourself to even complain about that. Because you definitely would be right if you did complain like, yo, I got my own life to take care of, but yet you want me to do this for you, you want me to do this for you, and I know we're related. You don't have to be related, but that's just the story that they keep making me play in my head. But the point is, it's like, the Spirit team is like, you're an amazing person. And everyone could agree with that. But it's about time for you to start living your life for you. And the last card that we have, sorry if I've gone long, but the last card that we have is Basket. Recognition, reward for merit. I think this definitely highlights the scenario that they gave us, in which, especially if you're like a child of foreign parents, they tend to definitely put you on a pedestal. They expect a lot from you, and things like that. So some of you guys could be dealing with the pressures of that. But overall, this is what I definitely would have already determined about you, is the fact that you are someone who, if not already, is definitely successful and, or at least has a way of meeting their goals. So yeah, I think this is also your spirit team is also acknowledging that I think people often find you to be successful, or often find you to be someone who appears to have it going on, or has everything. But little do most people know, there is a little turmoil within you. But it's fixable. How we're going to fix it is, Spirit Team is advising some sort of balance when it comes to you giving yourself to other people, whether it's even work, even. And to also balance that with you giving yourself to yourself. So, with that being said, pile number 3, I hope that you enjoyed this. Your spirit team definitely had a ulterior motive when it came to this reading, but I think they definitely hit the nail on the head. They definitely got their point across while still remaining on topic, so we have to commend them for that. But with that being said, if you feel so inclined, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. But other than that, I will catch you next time. Bye. What is up, pile number 4? This is for those that picked the black tourmaline stone. We're about to find out how would your spirit team describe you. The cards that they gave us are 8 of Cups. We also have 3 of Cups in reverse. And going with the cups again, we have 9 of Cups in reverse. Number 2, Sacral Chakra. We also have Fire, number 23. Number 31, the Goblin. We have Purpose, and Door to Spirit, as well as this card that we'll get into later. So, pile number 4, I think what Spirit is going to do is a little bit different than the other piles. I believe what they're going to do is describe you, but it seems as though they're describing you currently. Like, maybe this is not necessarily who you are you know, as a person, but this is currently what I feel is your spirit team are wanting to discuss who you are at this moment, if that makes sense. And sometimes, yeah, maybe they could be parallel to who you've always been, but I do feel like this is in relation to some of the experiences that you've gone through, and that's something else that they also want to acknowledge. But overall, the energy is giving me someone who and I don't know if it's romantic love or if it's platonic love, but it's spirit team are describing you as someone who it's like I have a lot of love to give, but maybe not the right person to give it to. There is almost a desire to really want to love and be loved. Now, I don't know, maybe you guys already have a full group of people and friends, but there's times where I'm fortunate enough to have quite a number of friends and just people in general who rock with me. But even with all that, I can still feel lonely. I can still feel like no one gets me. I can still feel like I don't belong. And I feel like this is kind of being described about you, is that there is almost an aspect of loneliness here. And I feel as though there is also an emptiness with this group. It almost feels like life has yet offered anything of interest, of importance, or anything that I possibly could want at this very moment. So I'll tell you this. I mean, they're going to explain it further, but I can almost guarantee that this is pretty much, and you probably don't want to hear this, but this is you're kind of being prepped at the very moment for, I don't know how spiritual you are, but I am getting the sense that this is leading to a very spiritual climax, maybe a spiritual awakening, if you will, because your spirit team is saying that you have yet to discover something in this life that will give you the sense of fulfillment that you've been looking for. But let's begin. Eight of Cups. So I didn't want to say this before because I didn't really get more confirmation from them, but I'm starting to get more confirmation now. I do feel like this group definitely went through something. Whether it feels like an ending. It also feels like it could have definitely have been a relationship, an ending of a relationship, whether it's platonic or romantic. It feels like an ending. It's what they keep showing me, an ending. Like a chapter has been closed. And I think the effect that it had on you has definitely made you almost like unclear of what path to take. And the path that you're currently on is definitely a lonely one. They're telling me you're asleep. And when they tell me that, that's my indication once again. I mean, I don't want to scare you guys, I really don't, but when they tell me you're asleep, it's my way of translating that to a spiritual awakening is coming, something like that. So, in other words, I believe during this moment you may not have a lot to really be grateful for in your eyes, or something that you really feel like this is something worth living for, or something that I can actually feel fulfilled in. You may feel that way, but definitely there is going to be somewhat of a spiritual journey that you are going to be on, spiritual path that you're going to be on. Now, it could be different for everyone. It doesn't necessarily have to be doing what I'm doing. You can have one of your own that isn't in the public eye. But I do believe your spiritual path is currently being open to you. You just have yet to walk on that path. This is being triggered by an event that has occurred, and it feels like an ending between you and a person, or maybe this could even, I'm not necessarily getting death, but that could be a possibility. I'm more so getting an ending of like a relationship or a friendship or a bond or something like that. And it really just took you for a loop, had you questioning everything. And this is kind of spirit trying to not only remind you, but really prep you for the lives to come, because you're going to find something that you can really embrace and feel happy about. You haven't been able to do that in a while. We also have Three of Cups in reverse. This is also for the group who maybe have been trying to manifest, whether it's love or just friends or just people in general. I feel like this is the group in which maybe you have encountered many issues when it comes to people. Maybe there's a distrust that you may have with people due to a specific experience, but I'm sorry, I can't help but feel kind of sad, because it's almost as if a lot of the experience that you've had, at least that's how they're making me feel, especially when it comes to like with people, have not been the best, and what that has also made you almost gave up. Like the sentence that they said was, I gave up on people, or I give up on people. The next card we have is Nine of Cups in reverse. Now this card for me indicates with you guys, there is a desire to, I'm getting more so connections. I'm getting more so of people that either won't let you down, or people that you can actually not have to worry about giving your trust to them. Yeah. And maybe that's not everything, but it's definitely important. We are humans, and humans are social beings. So connections are important, especially healthy, viable ones. So I just feel like with this group, you maybe dealt with a bad batch of people in your life that, of course, there's things to learn that you can learn and maybe take from this experience, but they probably didn't leave the most, the most sweetest taste in your mouth, right? But I sense that there is a desire to really, even maybe a wish to really either connect with people, or connect with, or have people around you that you can connect with. And yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of things in your life that you will find to give you fulfillment, but I feel like a big chunk of that is having to do with the connections that you make. And I think that's nothing to be ashamed about, because I too find connections to be important, and I do hold them to a high regard, and I think you do as well. So Yeah. Next color we have is number 2, sacral chakra. This chakra in particular speaks about desires too, amongst other things. But this is also talking about, like for example, maybe like if I ask you to finish this sentence for me, the sentence is, I wake up every morning because of this. Like, I love to do this, or I love this about my life, or I can't wait for tomorrow to do this, or to speak to this, or speak about this, or something like that. Like, there's something missing when it comes to, you feel like something's missing when it comes to your life, and a part of that has to do with you feeling not fulfilled. That's really, it feels like in this case, your spirit team is acknowledging that it's ingrained with the connections that you make. And it's unfortunate because I do sense that some of you guys have gotten betrayed or have been dealt wrong by people or individuals. But part of the challenge is going to be how to not generalize every person by the people that you've met who has done you wrong. That's going to be a challenge, but I do believe that's going to be a part of the journey, the spiritual awakening that I feel is impending for you. And by the way, if you feel like you have already had a spiritual awakening, we do go through many spiritual awakenings. It's not just one and done. There's something about desires that they keep wanting to bring about, and we're going to the next card as we continue to expand on that. Fire card, you could be a fire sign, you don't have to be, but the fire card also speaks about passions as well as desire. It just feels like I have a lot of wishes that have yet to be fulfilled in this life. What's the point? Like, when is it going to happen? I'm always disappointed. But it's the same fire though. Although you may feel unfulfilled, this fire is still something that is keeping you here on this plane, if that makes sense. There still is hope, there still is a determination to go through this life experience with the hope and the expectation that connections will improve, that you will meet someone, that you will have a group of people that you can actually depend on, or a person you can actually depend on. And I know it's not about them, it's really about you, but like I said, we are humans. We do desire and thrive off of social connections. And you particularly, it just seems like your past, it has a lot to do with that. Next card we have is the Goblin, the wounded human ego. So how you're feeling now is definitely a result of something that has occurred that made you feel hurt, made you feel betrayed, made you feel less than. Once again, it definitely, and I don't want to get too spiritual, but this could be something else that could be working against you, especially if you are constantly in the energy of maybe people always disappoint me. People will never, cease to disappoint me. You know what I mean? If you have that type of generalization at the forefront of your thoughts and your mind, then that could definitely play a part in your reality. But overall, this card definitely speaks about there's something about the past that is still keeping you held there, even if you may have thought that you moved on. And I do believe that's going to be one of the things that's maybe worked out during the spiritual path that I feel you're being led on. Because we're talking about purpose, and we're talking about door to spirit. But the purpose card for sure speaks about the emptiness on the inside. And I think that you're not alone when it comes to this, so you have nothing to be ashamed about. But I do believe this is something that not everyone has a hard time or easy time discovering or trying to discover. Is their purpose, or to find some type of meaning out of this life experience. I do believe when it comes to you, your meaning could have to do with the connections that you make. Because that would explain the strong desire that I feel to either make friends or maybe have a partner, a romantic partner, or just people that you can depend on and trust. But you're being prepped for this. You're being prepped. And I know it's probably not going to satisfy you and really get you out of this, maybe this feeling that stems from a past scenario. But you are being prepped and you're being led to this door, which is the door to spirit, but this is really speaking about spirituality and how the journey that you're currently on is leading you to this, a life of spirituality. And like I said, when I say that, you don't have to be a priest. Matter of fact, scratch that, because that's not even spirituality. Never mind. But I will say that you don't have, I'm not trying to say that you guys are now going to dedicate your life to spirituality. I'm not saying that, but there's going to be your own version of a spiritual awakening that's going to be occurring. And I do believe it's going to be something that is going to give you a sense of fulfillment that maybe doesn't necessarily have to do with other people, but I feel what it's going to do is you're going to find something that is going to make you feel fulfilled to where you don't have to have, or don't really necessarily have to constantly think about the desire of wanting either people around you or friends or a romantic partner. And I think naturally you're going to get that anyway, but I think there's a lesson in this. There's something else that requires your attention that you're going to discover, and that's going to be something that's going to give you a sense of fulfillment on its own. But you have to be honest, you have to be aware that your spirit team they have a goal in mind. The question was to describe you, and they are describing you. But this is probably something that you wouldn't necessarily like. If you were at a job interview and I asked you to describe yourself to me, you probably wouldn't say these things, right? But it seems as though Spirit once again, they always have their agenda, and their agenda in specific for you is to make you aware that you are currently transforming and you're currently being led to a specific destination. And it's a path that not everyone travels, but you are definitely meant to travel. But I think what's it going to do is give you some sense of fulfillment in some way, shape, or form. You'll find that. And I do believe naturally you'll be able to get the connections and the bonds and be able to establish those, because that's something that will naturally come as well. Last card that we have, and I do apologize if I'm running too long, but the last card that we have is Cobweb, protected from negative forces beyond your control. Pile number 4. Your spirit team talks to you a lot, by the way. They like to come in the form of birds, your spirit team. So be on the lookout for that, especially like white birds. But they definitely want you to understand with this card is that this is not, you're not being punished, okay? In fact, it's the opposite. Your experiences are leading you to such a rewarding destination. And it's going to happen without fail. You leading to this goal. I believe the goal is for you to find a sense of fulfillment that's going to be maybe something separate than relationships and connections, but I think overall that's what's going to happen regardless as well, is that you will get to be able to experience those connections and have those people that you can actually trust and depend on. And it's going to happen without fail, like I said. But your spirit team are always making themselves known to you. They're always speaking to you with your thoughts, symbols, and they've been trying to reiterate that you're going to be okay. Things like that. So, birds and spiders is what they like to manifest as. I know some of you guys probably don't really care for spiders. I don't, spiders don't bother me at all. There's only one type of insect that I will destroy. I'm sorry. There's one insect that I cannot stand. But spider, for the most part, they don't bother me. But I know some of you guys could be scared, but this is just how they like to show up as. So if you see those things, even like if it's in the image, or even if it's like a drawing, just know that that's them reminding you that they got your back. They're not going to have you fail. So, pile number 4. So this was a very interesting one. Like I said, it was quite different than the other piles, but it still, made sense to the prompt at hand. They definitely did describe you, but this is probably not necessarily who you always have been or who you are in general, but this definitely feels like the current energy that you currently possess. And it's just something that they wanted to speak to you for a reason. And just really bring you aware, okay? There's still more to this life. I know it seems like, what's the point of even trying? tomorrow. But your story is not complete, even if it feels like it. They need you to know that. There's still a lot more to come. So, with that being said, pile number 4, if you feel so inclined, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I know I went overboard with the time. I do apologize for that. I love this reading. And I hope that you guys did as well. And I love y'all. Please be safe. I know life is crazy right now. Or just life is just crazy in general. Life is just, there's no manuals for life, but I hope that you guys are still doing well. So, with that being said,